Welcome to Days Gone By. This is a narrative expansion to the Walking Dead All-Out War miniature game. And the first scenario is Chapter 1, Gun Running. It involves Rick, Duane and Morgan. And for this mission we start with 12 walkers already on the board. And finally you get 20 points worth of equipment. But because we're using Morgan and Duane, we're going to stick with the hatchet and the shovel that came in their booster pack. This is a solo mission that can be played cooperatively if you share out the characters. But this is it. Chapter 1, gun running. Let's get on with it. Turn 1. Well, I'll activate Duane. I'm going to run him straight towards the black car, which is going to make noise and drag a walker closest towards me. The objective is to get the guns, but we do need to get the other supply counters for extra points in the next mission. So, next up, let's get Morgan, and he can run, keep up with his son, and drag that same walker now into base contact with himself. And now we're going to activate Rick, and Rick is going to run straight towards the red car. As I said, we need to get these supplies as quick as possible, but that's also going to make noise, and we're going to be pulling the walker towards us. And there we go. So that is our activations done for this turn. The kill zone template isn't needed. So our first event card. And we've got frayed nerves. I am using the solo event cards. They're just double stacked inside the sleeves. There isn't any model with low nerve. We're just going to be adding +1 to the threat tracker. And then +1 again as we're in melee combat. Okay, so we'll start with Rick. He has 1 white dice in attack, and the walker gets 1 in defense. So Rick's got 2, Walker's got a blank. Rick wins the combat, pushes the walker back, and we'll just get a prone counter down there. And now we'll move on to Morgan. Morgan's got the hatchet that gives an additional white dice, so he has 2 white dice against the 1 red. That's 3 for Morgan. He can't lose, but he didn't get a crit. So that is the walker pushed back and knocked prone as well. Turn 1. Duane ran straight towards the car. Morgan and Rick ran up, blocked the walkers and pushed them back to protect the kid. Do they get back up? The walker by Morgan? No. And the walker by Rick? Nope, not this time. So they're both still down. That's the end of turn 1. Turn 2, Duane is going to search the car, get the supply counter. What do we get? And we've got an ammo reload. It is a solo game, so the threat tracker has gone up by 1, so that's now on 4. For my second action, as he's a runner, doesn't have to do a climb test, so we're just going to run him about 5 inches, just so we can make noise and pull that walker straight into Duane. And now we're going to activate Morgan and go, hell no, that's my boy. So we're going to run him between the gap. And then down into combat with the walker to help his boy out. Which just leaves Rick to activate. Rick is going to sneak to the back of the car. And he's going to search that vehicle. So we'll take that one, we'll stick that one on Rick, and what do we get? And we've got some bandages for Rick. Okay, well that's the actions taken for this turn. Kill zones, nope, nothing there. Event card. Roamers, we're low threat. Move an eligible walker towards us. So that's going to be that old man walker is going to shamble down into combat with Rick. Now it's the melee phase, so the threat tracker's got to go up to 5. And we'll start with Morgan and Duane. Morgan has 1 white in attack, plus 1 white for the hatchet. Duane has 1 red in attack, plus 1 red for the shovel, so that's 4 dice in total. Hopefully we can get a kill here. And we've got a headshot, so that's 5 damage, headshot. Walker can't do anything about it. Rolls a blank anyway. That's that walker dead. That's not bad. Now we move on to Rick. Rick has only got one white dice. We got a 1, and the walker also got a 1, so it's a tie. Rick just pushes the walker back. And the final thing we got to do is the end phase. The walker in the green dress. Nope, she's still prone. And the other walker gets back up. 2 supply crates so far. That's an extra 10 points for the next mission. But that's the end of turn 2. Turn 3, the threat tracker goes up to 6. And we're going to activate Rick. We're going to sneak him, can we? Yeah, we're going to sneak him to the truck for his first action. And for his second action, we're going to search the crate. So let's see what we get. Supply, and we have some football pads. Takes 1 less damage. Okay, pretty handy. Next up, we are going to go to... Morgan. We're going to sneak Morgan towards the walker. And for our second action, we're going to hold our nerve. As Morgan is a tactician, no dice roll required. We just put the threat tracker down by 1. And that leaves us Duane to activate. So I'm going to sneak him towards the police car. And for my second action, I'm going to search the final supply crate. So if we complete this mission, we get the extra 20 points for the second mission. But I get nothing. Nothing in the police car. Not a surprise, really. You would expect military vehicles to be the first ones looted. And now for the kill zones. That walker is definitely in Morgan's kill zone, so that one can go in. And for Rick, nope, that's out, they're all out. Event card. Pandemonium, threat back up by 1, so we're back up to 6. We're on low threat. 1 blue dice, and that's how many walkers move towards the closest survivor. And I had to roll a 3. And we also have to roll 1 white dice, and that's how many walkers enter the battlefield. Let's move some walkers. Old Man Walker first. He seems to be the closest. It's better. Move him straight into Rick. And then the walker that was fighting Rick last turn. He can move straight into Rick as well. And then next closest. Yeah, straight into the truck. And finally, 1 walker enters play. And we're going to put them right back in the corner where we first started this mission. And now we're going to the melee phase. So the threat tracker goes up by 1 again. And we'll start with Morgan. He has the hatchet. 1 extra white dice, so 2 in total. And I get 2. And the walker also gets a 2. Time to push the walker back. And now we're going to have to move on to Rick. Rick only has 1 white dice. And he's up against 2 walkers. I got a 2 with a crit for Rick. And the walkers, they've got 3 damage, also a crit. So that's a bite. 1 damage taken. But the football pads that I found in the supply crate have saved me. That nullifies 1 damage, so I take 0 damage, so I don't get bitten. Now to move the walkers back. I was quite lucky with that round of combat. Just the end phase to go. Just need to roll for the last prone walker. And that's a shield, so that one's getting back up. Start of turn 4. Threat tracker goes up to 8 because it's solo game. So I'm going to hold my nerve with Rick. And I do, so that puts the threat back down to 7. And now I'm going to run him straight over in front of that walker. Making noise, that walker's going to come into me. And now I'm going to activate Duane. And I'm going to attempt to hold my nerve as well. Yep, that's down to 6. As he's a runner, no climb test needed. So I'm just going to run straight over into combat with the same walker that Rick's involved in, which is going to pull the closest walker into Duane. And now to activate Morgan. Morgan is going to hold his nerve. He's tactician, so it's automatic. Down to 5. And now I'm going to run Morgan around the walker that looks like his wife. Straight into combat with the walker that's in contact with Duane. That is also going to make noise. So that's going to pull that walker back into Morgan. And now to check the kill zone. And I do believe that walker will be in Rick's kill zone. Let's just put the template over and double check. That's another walker that's going to enter this combat. I will have to decide how to split the combat in a moment. But first off, we do need an event card. And we get Distracted, low threat, one eligible walker in direction of my choice. That is the card that makes it so much better using the solo deck when you're playing solo games. It's really helpful. And I'm just going to move that walker that's not in combat, shamble her 6 out of the way. So if I can get through this combat, hopefully I'll have a good chance. And now I've got to decide how I'm going to split the combat. Well, I think I'm going to take Morgan and have Morgan face off against the 2 walkers. One, because Morgan's got better dice. Yep, that's basically the main reason. I'm going to split Rick off, so Rick's facing 1 walker, and then Duane can face 1 walker. And we are going to start with... We'll start with Rick. So Rick has 1 white dice. I've got a 1. Walker, 1. It's a tie. Rick just pushes the walker back. And now we'll move on to Duane. Duane has 2 red dice. I scored a 2. Walker has 1. Scored a 1. Duane wins, so I push this walker back and we'll get a prone token. Okay, and that leaves Morgan to go. 2 white dice. 3 damage, a crit. And 2 damage to the walker. So I do 1 damage. Critical. So I kill 1 walker. And I just push the other walker back. And that is the end of the melee phase. Now I need to roll to see if that prone walker gets up. Nope, not this time. So that is the end of turn 4. And the threat tracker is at 6. And now we'll move on to turn 5. We've got to go for it. So my first action is going to be activate Duane. And I'm going to swap items. I'm going to give Morgan the shovel and take the hatchet. And now I'm going to run Duane up and around the prone walker. So a couple inches forward to clear the prone walker, and then a few inches to the side, which is going to make noise and pull the closest walker into Duane. And now I'm going to have to activate Rick and use Rick to block the walker from getting to Morgan. And I could go up. No, I'm just going to have to walk straight into combat with the walker. And that's Rick's activation. So now I've got to activate Morgan. And Morgan is going to run straight to the police bag, the doorway to the police station, which makes noise. So that's going to drag the closest walker. Yeah, it drags the closest walker 6 inches towards Morgan. And now for my second action, I've got to attempt the smash roll. As I swap weapons, I get a white and a red. That can't be beaten. Let's see how tough the door wanted to be. Okay, but that's a successful smash roll, so we're in. The smash action creates noise, so that walker is now moving into Morgan. Nothing in kill zone, so event card. We got won't stay down, which means we got to roll an action dice to see if the walker gets up. Which is a pretty decent card considering we've only got to survive until the end of this turn. So the walker gets up, but it's not going to make any difference. We've still just got to survive until the end of this turn. So it's now the melee phase, which puts the threat tracker up by 1. And we shall start with Rick. So he has 1 white dice. He gets a 1. And the walker also gets a 1. Push that 1 back. And now we'll move on to Morgan, who gets 1 white and 1 red because we swap weapons. It's a 3. Walker can't win. Walker is dead. So that's that walker removed. And finally, Duane. Also 1 white, 1 red. He gets a 2. Walker gets a 1. He wins it, pushes the walker back, and puts it prone. Obviously, we got the end turn to go, which means the walker could get back up, but it's the end of the turn, so we have won. We're through the door of the police station. We're going to collect all our guns. And we also have the extra 20 points for the next mission. So we'll see you on that one. Take it easy. I'll see you later.